Okay, so we left Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam and headed straight up into Cambodia. It was only about a 7-hour bus ride, which in the scheme of things that we've done recently was not that bad. We landed ourselves in Phnom Penh, which is an incredibly interesting and emotionally taxing place to go and travel to.
That is not
I just got punched in the face by a smell.
So I didn't know much about Cambodia. I knew it was smaller than Vietnam and Thailand and it had more of a rugged feel, but that's really all I knew going into it. So we got a chance to go see the killing fields, particularly a place called S21. It was a elementary school that they had converted into a place of torture.
Going in there, you have to do a little research as to what happened between about 71 to 75. There was this regime called the Khmer Rouge that was operating underneath of a guy named Pol Pot, and they managed to kill 25% of their population out of 8 million people.
The security of regulation. Number 1, you must answer accordingly to my questions. Don't turn them away. Number 2, don't try to hide the facts by making pretext, this and that. You are strictly prohibited to contest me. Number 3, don't be fool, for you are a chap who dared to thwart the revolution. Number 4, you must immediately answer my questions without wasting time to reflect. Number 5, don't tell me either about your immoralities or the essence of the revolution. Number 6, while getting lashes or electrification, you must not cry at all. Number 7, do nothing, sit still and wait for my orders. If there is no order, keep quiet. When I ask you to do something, you must do it right away without protesting. Number 8, don't make pretexts about Kabchia Krom in order to hide your secret or traitor. Number 9, if you don't follow all the above rules, you shall get many lashes of electric wire. Number 10, if you disobey any point of regulations, you shall either get 10 lashes or 5 shocks of electric discharge.
So Pol Pot would torture his own soldiers, his own generals, his own diplomats, anyone he deemed too intelligent. If you were wearing glasses or if you had a university education, if you showed any type of intelligence that would threaten his regime and his power, you would be tortured.
So we're in the killing fields just outside of Phnom Penh in Cambodia, and this is an area where mass burials of people that were executed took place. But one of the interesting aspects about it is that as you walk along these paths, you encounter clothing and bones just sticking out of the ground, because every time the rainy season happens, it actually kind of washes away a lot of the soil, and a lot of the people that were executed and buried here haven't actually been taken out of the ground, so you still get these instances of clothing popping up, and there's teeth and bones all over the place. It's incredibly eerie, but definitely powerful. You have to come and check it out if you're in Cambodia. I think it's educational and very important for people to see what took place, to prevent it from ever taking place again.
So Mark Twain had a quote that said, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it tends to rhyme." It's really important that we learn about these tragic events throughout history to make sure that it never happens again. Pol Pot used fear to manipulate people and have them commit horrible, horrible genocide. And it's important we learn about this past of Cambodia. Even though Cambodia is a beautiful country today, we need to learn about what happened in the past, and we need to make sure it never happens again. So on the bright side, we headed over to Siem Reap.
Skating on the surface of what might have been.
We stayed at a Hostelworld hostel called Garden Village. Really cool, laid-back atmosphere. We had a pool party every day. We had people from all over Europe and the rest of the world, from England, Australia, Ireland, South America. I highly recommend it when you're stopping through.
So something that I suggest you do when you're in Siem Reap is, as opposed to just doing Angkor Wat, you can actually go and immerse yourself in the floating villages, which is on this river that attaches to the Mekong. And this is actually something pretty easy to go and experience, because the population that lives there is used to people going and doing little tours of their floating village. So they'll really take great care of you. First thing you need to do is you need to become comfortable with the head staring directly at you.
No, stop!
The The reason why this is such a unique experience is because you're really immersing yourself in a population of the planet that has no ego, doesn't really have a front. It's a very, very raw experience. They're very much just dealing with what they have in front of them and the means that they need to get by. It's kind of a refreshing thing to experience because it really puts your own life into perspective.
So obviously we had to go check out Angkor Wat, which is an ancient world wonder. It's the 5th world wonder I've been to, and it was incredible. You have hectares and hectares of these ancient ruins. You can't walk around without your mouth being dropped in awe.
So Angkor Wat is the world's largest religious monument. If you were to take about maybe 3 to 4 days, then you probably could do the majority of the temples, but it is massive. It's roughly actually larger than the size of New York City. One thing that happens on a daily basis though is that everybody gets up to go and see the sunrise, but they do it at the biggest temple because there's so many people doing this tour that they all start at one location and then kind of migrate in the same direction the whole time. If you were to go and do one of the neighboring temples, start at Angkor Thom, then you probably will get away from the flow of traffic.
Cambodia was incredible. It's definitely a place you have to visit when you're stopping through Southeast Asia. I'll never forget when I was in high school and I heard about a friend who had gone to Cambodia on her own, and all of us were afraid for her life, and she said it was the best thing she's ever done. So now that I've experienced Asia and Cambodia, I can see where she's coming from. You have nothing to fear, just have your common sense and check out Cambodia. So thank you so much, guys. And now we're off to Bhutan. Kusu Sampola. Ciao.
Tua